What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo. Does Let's Talk Football. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Blitz, where we take a couple
Yes,
little topics
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
and
sir.
hit them
All
very
right.
quickly. And you see who I'm with. I'm never alone. Yes, I'm hosting this today, but I'm here with my guy who, if he fades into black, he will disappear. But we all know him as Mr. Uncle Shay Shay himself, Anthony Handy.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hey, Ocho. It's been proven that
Yeah.
5% of American men suffer from colon cancer, and it can be produced. It can be saved by a simple colon test. By my. But you don't have to do the colon test. You can just buy the Shea by La Portier. If you don't have it, you can find it somewhere, and it'll help you do something before do something.
Come on now. Good God. And you
Oh
see him
wow.
down here, one of the hosts and founders of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, Mr. Nicholas. I want the smoke, Rosario. What up, Nick?
Well, how are we doing there, gentlemen? On this was a fine Wednesday evening here. Just taking it, doing it back at work now. So preparing. For those of you who are not aware, I do work at Wrigley Field where the Cubs play. So we're preparing for the season. So it's been a couple of long last few days trying to get stuff delivered and all that good stuff. So just happy to be back at work and living the dream like always, right?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Aren't we always? Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad you guys are here to join us on the Blitz, ladies and gentlemen, where
Let's
we hit a couple topics, really short, sweet, talk about them, and it might be a little something, might be football related, might be not, might be something current, might be something all around the way. And to start this thing off, to get this icebreaker started, I'm gonna send this to my guy over here, Anthony. What's the first topic of the day?
Well, I was surfing through an article um, that I found on the internet, and it was just talking specifically about nicknames and how people go about getting their nicknames. Nothing specific about them, just nicknames. Now, a nickname, for those of you that are unfamiliar, is something that uh, it can be a defining character about you, something that is your trademark, something that people know you for. Sometimes it can be one that you give to yourself because you think highly of yourself and you're able to show and prove what it is that you're able to do, and it sticks. So I thought it would be fun for us today to discuss some of the greatest nicknames in in the NFL throughout the history of the NFL. If gentlemen, if you don't mind, I would like to go
Okay.
ahead and prime the pump and get this thing started.
Sure.
This first one falls in that category of somebody who gave themselves a nickname. Came into the league very highly touted, big time smack talker. Turned out to not only be a Super Bowl winner, but also a gold jacket. He got a gold jacket at the end of his career, several times after the end of his career, for his efforts. Big smack talker. When he came in the league, he had a Jerry curl and a rope
Mhm.
chain with a cell phone,
For
and
sure.
straight out of Florida State. Uh, and you all might know him as Dion. What was his middle
Hmm.
name again, Sean?
Prime time.
No, his middle name, his actual middle name, Lawan.
Lawan. They're like, like Lawan.
Dion Lawan
I got
Sanders, but you all know him as Prime Time, and that he's embodied that so much to the point that one of the reasons I think it's a great nickname is because not only did he speak it, he lived it on the field, he showed it on the field, and so much so to the point that many years post career, they now refer to him as Coach Prime.
Coach
So
Right.
Prime.
that's where I'm going. So Nick, I'm gonna throw this to you. What you got for me, man?
Well, I don't know. I was kind of partial to Neon Dion myself, but all right, I like Prime Time. I like Neon Dion. That was pretty good too. Well,
Yeah.
okay, again, I'm slightly biased, of course, because I'm a Chicago man. But how
Hmm.
could you not put up greatest nicknames ever? Walter Sweetness Payton, my friend.
Oh man,
Because
all day, every
that
day.
brother was sweet in everything he did. He could run the ball, pass the ball. He could block. Like I don't think a lot of people realize Walter would throw a block when he had to.
Oh yeah,
Like
for sure.
and Sweetness was definitely just, as a kid growing up, watching, because again, growing up in the 80s, there was a lot of big personalities in football. A lot of guys. You had your Lawrence Taylors. Your flashy quarterbacks, your Marinos, your Jim Kellys, but they didn't really have like nicknames. I mean, we had McMahon, who was the punky QB. Because McMahon didn't care about anything. He just out there nuts and throwing. He did all kind of crazy stuff. But Walter was one of those guys who he just played football. He was a football player. I know his position was running back, but if you ever defined football player, that was Walter Payton. And to have the nickname
100%.
Sweetness, and just to, that to me, I mean, again, I'm a little biased, but I think a lot of people would agree it's a really great nickname. My other favorite, of course, because again, as a chubby child, a little chunky when I was, younger, and he came into the league, right? Rookie year, 1985, 300 plus pounds on the defensive line for the Chicago Bears. He had William the Refrigerator Perry. And he looked like a damn refrigerator. And he probably
That
just
he
as
did.
hard to move. He probably was just as hard to move as a refrigerator was that was full of food, because that boy was like a tank. His first 2 years, I'll give him this. He kind of got out of shape in terms of like really gained more weight after this first couple of years. But those first 2 years that William Perry was in Chicago, he was a force, my friends. He was definitely a force. So for me, those are two, for me, great NFL nicknames. You got Sweetness and the Refrigerator. That's all I got to say about that.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. I love that. First thing that hit in my mind was White Shoes.
All right,
Like
shout
Billy
out
White.
to
Oh.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
Billy
that was the
White
first
Shoes Johnson?
White
Billy
Shoes.
White
That was the
Shoes?
first
my
thing that
man.
came to my mind. Oh yeah, Billy White Shoes. He did the whole dancing. I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. But to be
Yeah.
honest, the
The
biggest name
funky
that I
chicken
remember.
or whatever it was.
Yeah, yo, I loved him. I loved him. But the biggest name when it comes to whenever I think nickname, number one name that comes to my mind, late '80s, early '90s, Kansas City Chiefs running back Christian
Oh,
Okoye, the
yeah.
Nigerian Nightmare.
Nightmare. That's
Loved
right.
him.
Yes, sir.
Love that
Yeah.
guy all day long. One of the best backs in the league. He actually won the 1980-89 rushing title, beating out Barry Sanders by less than 100 yards, which is always
Yeah.
crazy. But the guy
Yeah.
literally didn't start playing football until like his junior year in college, and he went to like Azusa Pacific College, some random school. But
Yeah.
he was
But he was
so physically just huge, just built like, I mean, an ox, just huge. And the fact that he was able to play in the league and do everything, and he dominated. He was great until that one hit by Steve Atwater that kind of brought him back down to earth. But Nigerian Nightmare all day, man.
Yeah, that's a good.
Okay.
And
Okay.
in the same vein, how about the bus? Jerome Bettis?
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
guy was like a tank too, man. Trying to bring that guy down was. But yeah, I remember the Nigerian Nightmare, of course. I mean, who didn't remember Christian Okoye, right? That guy ran over people. Like, he just hurt
Hmm.
people when he ran by. You're just like, this guy. But like I said, I guess Atwater gave him that one good hit, and that kind of take you down a notch. But that's what happens. What can you do? Who didn't love? I mean, who didn't like? Well, I didn't like the quarterback, but those Denver Broncos. That defense, man, it was hard to argue with how good they were back
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Definitely hard to argue
Well,
with back then.
well, we gotta. A lot of times the guys in the skill positions are the ones that get the nicknames. I mean,
Sure.
you have your Air McNairs
Right.
at quarterback. You have your playmakers and Michael Irving at wide receiver. You have your prime times in Dion. You got your running backs. Like, I'm gonna bring one out for you right now, like your Cadillac Williams.
Hmm.
But
There you go.
but we gotta
Cadillac,
show
Cadillac.
love. We gotta show love to the specialty players, and sometimes the special teams players don't get a lot of love. But there was a guy that was one of the best kickers in the league for a good long while, and he goes by the name Greg the Leg Zerline.
Hmm.
No, Greg
And
the Leg.
I'm gonna throw this one in with him, although he got his nickname before he got in the league. Cameron Dicker, who goes by the nickname Dicker the Kicker.
Come on.
Dicker the kicker. Well,
I mean that one might not have caught on quite yet because he's not necessarily he hasn't really earned his stripes quite yet in the league, but still. And then of course, you can't not throw the coaches in there. How about Mr. Bill Parcells, the big tuna?
The big tuna. Big tuna. The big tuna.
Yeah.
Got to.
And let's see, what other coaches had nicknames? Hold on, it was, let's think about that for a minute. Because you say you brought up Big Tuna, but what other coaches? I mean, you had
Booch.
Mike Ditka was just duck coach, duck coach, right? Mike Ditka was just duck coach. That was our guy. But yeah, Mariucci was the
Mooch.
Well, wasn't he also Iron Mike?
Yeah.
Well, I guess technically, yeah, but that goes. I think of Mike Tyson when you say Iron Mike, so I kind of don't. I don't associate that with Ditka too much. You say Iron Mike, I'm going Tyson, but I get where you're going. I can dig it. But yeah,
you dig it.
Funny. Yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm definitely digging these names. I want to run through maybe one more round of this. I don't want to run this too long. So Sean, I'm coming back your way. What you got for me? On the
Well, I'll end this the way Nick started it, talking about the home team. I mean, there's a lot of nicknames that you can associate with Washington. Obviously, the Hogs, one of the best O lines. I'm a little biased. One of the best lines in NFL history.
It was
the Fun Bunch, who is, if you don't know, in the early '80s, were the ones that kind of did this, did that, and then everybody high fived and everything.
Oh man, I used to love that.
Loved that. That was, I mean, before my time.
When they were like 1, 2, and they would jump up and high five.
Then everybody hit right. Loved it. Loved that. But in order to talk about those two names, there's a name that was bigger than any of them in Washington folklore, especially when you're talking about that era, and that's number 44, John Riggins, aka the Diesel. Fire up that Diesel. That was my guy. There is nothing like if you were at RFK and they played the Diesel horn in the stadium and you see Riggins just walking around, like it gives me chills thinking about it to this day. And it's more regional thing. It's more, it's not like the fridge where everybody knows it. It's something that only people in Washington would know. But the Diesel, I mean, hey, he's a fullback. How many times does a fullback get a name that we remember? So yeah, that's it for me. The Diesel, Fun Bunch, Hogs, Washington all day, baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Definitely digging that. And I, not necessarily being a Commanders fan, but being one of the prominent teams in the league when I was coming up. I mean, I was able to follow that as well. So yeah, you definitely pulled some good ones out there. All right, Mr. I Want the Smoke, what you got for me, sir?
Well, as we all know, Mr. Rosario is such a fan of a certain quarterback who is now, 41, 42 years old, who can't seem to find a team that wants to sign him. So, of course, my favorite topic always is Mr. Aaron Rodgers. And here is definitely the great debate. Because as we all know, we've been watching free agency, right, guys? Everybody is just about, that's it now. Not with Russ, which we're going to talk about, so I don't want to get too far in, but ain't too many quarterback spots left there, Mr. Rodgers. And I got to tell you, the fact that you spent 6 hours in Pittsburgh and didn't come out with a deal, I'm sorry, that's got to tell me something. Like, what were they not impressed by, or what did you not like, or whatever it is? But the fact of the matter is, my boy, you've got one option left, and I think it's Pittsburgh. I don't think you're going anywhere else. So if you don't sign there, guess what? You may have to ride the pine. Or I got a better idea. Why don't you go buy some ayahuasca, go back to Hawaii, sit under your waterfall, and never have to hear from you again? How about that, Aaron? How about you just disappear right now? Because to me, this guy is wasting up too much of the news cycle every day with all this stuff. And again, I don't know Aaron personally, so this is not a personal attack. But of course, it's my humble opinion, and I've been, I've badmouthed there, and I get it. Again, we're all people, we're all human, right? Like we all have the people we like and dislike. But after a while, man, I'm sorry, this shtick has just run short for me. Like, I'm really tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers. Like, I truly, truly am. I don't want to hear about him anymore. If he goes somewhere, fine, good for him. But I really just want this to happen already so we don't have to talk about this anymore because it's enough. I mean, let's be honest, Aaron. What you want, you had. Talking about, oh, I want to have the culture I had in Green Bay. Well, then why did you leave? You can say they forced you out, but you didn't exactly endear yourself to upper management, now did you? Mr. I'm this, I'm that. Yeah, fine. You've had a great career. I won't deny that. You are a very good quarterback in the regular season. Because as we all know, 1-4 in NFC championship games. Fine. That is what it is. But I'm just saying, it's time, Aaron. It's time to hear. It's time. Yeah, exactly. I always fire shots. You know that. But yeah, Aaron, really, come on, man. Either, as they say, crap or get off the pot, man. It's time. Like, this is just enough already. We were a month into free agency. You've been linked to this team, linked to that team, linked to this team. Again, you went to Pittsburgh, did not walk away with a deal. Figure it out, man. You either go to Pittsburgh or just go home. I think it's pretty much those are your options. You know what, Mr. Cornett? Maybe so. Okay, no, that's fine. I understand. Believe me, I know for years we didn't beat Green Bay. I get all that. I do. I understand. And I know you like to stir the pot, and that's fine. I dish it out. I got to take it too. That's cool. Right. Stir the pot.
Stir the pot. Did you say, wait a minute, did you say Ben Cornett and stir the pot? Are you sure you used the right verb?
Well, I don't even want to get into that, sir. But I'm just saying. I'll leave that for another time. But yeah. Thank you, Ben. See what happens? This is how it goes.
What's up, man? Good to see you, brother.
Yes, thank you for commenting, Ben. Even though, your comment can, you can go kick rocks. But my point is, it's time, Aaron. It's time, and that's it. Sean, I'm gonna throw that back to you because seriously, man, enough is enough. How do you feel about this Aaron Rodgers debate or whatever you want to call it?
This is like, why are we still talking about him? That I feel I don't have nearly as much animosity towards the man as you do. Clearly,
right? Clearly,
but I just, what are we still talking about? This is not the same Aaron Rodgers from even 3 years ago. Like, this isn't the same Aaron Rodgers that was winning. That won 4 NFL MVPs or that went to 4 or 5 NFC championships. This is a totally different person.
We went to 1-4. 1-4, right? 1-4.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go with who he beat.
But, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Believe me, I'm aware. Trust me. I know.
But so just the fact that each off season, this is just Favre all over again. It's each off season we have to hear about what you're doing, why you're doing it, and it is one thing when he was winning the MVPs or going to the championships or doing that. Now he sucks.
Right.
Let's just be plain. Let's make it plain. He's not good right now. He hasn't been good as wasn't as good as last year in Green Bay. He was not good his years in 1 year that he did play in New York.
Right.
So what are the Jets really getting? And we'll talk about, why they need a quarterback unless they want to start Mason Rudolph. But the Jets are the Steelers. I mean, the Steelers. I meant to say, yeah. What are the Steelers now getting? But I don't know what's going on. To be honest with you, knowing coach, and I know you got to win, you got to make the playoffs, and people are maybe thinking about moving on from Coach Tomlin. But I take my chances with going with Mason Rudolph. To be honest with you, it's just too much now because now you got DK and you got your Pickens in there, so you already gonna have people upset. Now you want Aaron Rodgers to come in here and add to that? Maybe not the best idea, Pittsburgh. So
I think both of them will be trying. I think both of them will be trying to fight Aaron Rodgers versus the opposing players before the season is over. If I'm being honest.
Yeah. I don't know, Andy. Do you have a comment on this, Andy? You're an Aaron Rodgers guy. What's going on? What do you think?
You know what? I can't deny that Aaron Rodgers, when he got his opportunity to step up to the plate, he took full advantage of it. He won the Super Bowl, won some NFL MVPs. He got himself a couple of State Farm commercials, discount double check, yada yada yada.
Right. Those days are
The
long
big,
gone, though.
yeah, those as a song said a long time ago. I can still remember when the music used to make me dance. That's the
Right.
glory days of Aaron Rodgers, and not to mention the fact that Sean was rattling off all the negatives. Not to mention the fact that, see, we spent a lot of last season talking about my quarterback coming back from a broken rubber band in the back of his leg. How about Aaron Rodgers had the same thing, and
Yep.
and you don't recuperate from that as quickly in your 40s as you do in your 20s, or in
Sure
your
thing.
not even in your 30s. You in your
Right.
40s, and you've already, he's not one of these health nuts like Tom Brady practicing tantric, I don't know. I'm sorry, wrong thing.
I was
But
gonna say, I didn't realize
he's
how you knew about Tom Brady's tantric practices there, Henry.
yeah, but he's a staunch vegan, and he's got
Right.
very into his fitness and keeping
Mhm.
his body. And when he played, he kept his body in shape, and you didn't see him stay injured for very long unless it was some kind of serious injury. Aaron Rodgers is just like, uh, so I can take my check, put it in the bank, and then I don't have to come back for like 5 months. All right, cool. See you later. And he just goes and disappears in the woods and
Yep.
hangs out with like Van Wilder and Zach Galifianakis and all that kind of, like Alan from the Hangover movies and that kind of thing. So he just it's time for him to sit down. And
Yeah.
I don't think it has sank in for him yet. I think at this point, I don't even think he believes he's that good. I think he is afraid of no longer being relevant when it
Relevant.
comes
Yeah.
time for him to walk out of the spotlight. Because for the last God knows how long he's been relevant. So
Yep.
I mean, it doesn't bother me one way or the other. I already know what he brings to the table, which is very little. At this point, 10 years ago, he was a cousin that showed up with the turkey, made the stuffing from scratch, already had sneak and took Big Mama's recipe for the sweet potato pie and had brought that too. Now he's the cousin that they say, you bring napkins and paper plates. That's
That's
what he's
right.
bringing to the table this year in the NFL. That was a bar. You can't tell me that was a bar of an analogy. That was a bar right there. He's the cousin that brings the paper plates to the table this year in the NFL. And it's time for him to just go ahead and acknowledge his role and ride on off into the sunset. Like Roy Rogers singing Happy Trails. That's went
Handy.
over about 50% of our demographics head, but I know it, Nick knows it, and Sean knows it.
Yep.
So it makes me happy.
All
Handy,
right.
you're
All I
much
got.
nicer. Your cookout is much nicer than my cookout because he's not
Yeah.
invited to my. He got disinvited once that ayahuasca became public. I was like, bro, all right, you
Come
just
on, man. Come on, man.
FaceTime us.
Listen, many Thanksgivings is we done gone to where them cousins go for a walk and we go push him off of some ayahuasca. He'll be all right.
That'd
Look,
be good.
I could, but when
It
I
ain't
come
like
back, from my walk, I'm eating everything in sight, so that
Right,
helps. When he's there in his little cave with the lights out and doing whatever the heck he's doing, he on some other stuff.
well,
Right?
that's good then, because if he goes in the cave, then he doesn't even bother to come back. He just drops the plates off and goes off and forgets he was supposed to have dinner till next Tuesday. He's like, man, y'all ate all the food. That's messed up.
Coming out the thing like, oh man, what? Did I miss anything?
Right. Yeah. Worry about it.
Y'all didn't even save the homie no potato salad. Okay, I see how
There
it
you
is.
go. And of course, for those of you who don't get the reference, right, this is the song that I don't know what his character's name is because Alan was the Zach Galifianakis character, but the guy Ed Helms with the tattoo on the face, he sings the Tiger song at the piano. While they're all passed out, he's at the piano playing. The song is hilarious. If you guys have never seen the first Hangover, go check that out. The song is phenomenal.
That it is.
So thank you, Ben, for that. I just it was hilarious.
Absolutely.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Aaron Rodgers.
Deuces.
Take a hike, Oscar, and get out of here.
Get going. Absolutely.
Get going.
Yo, and look, we got one more topic. Look, Not the table.
Not the table, Carlos. Exactly. Not the table, Carlos.
Man, I don't never get to keep no monkeys.
Yo, appreciate all you guys joining us as we come here on the Blitz. And look, we got one more topic for you really quickly. Those of you that heard, Russell Wilson to the Giants. 2-year deal, I believe $8 million deal. We also know James Winston, Mr. Hope, EDW, Hope, Mr. EDW, is also
You
in
got to
New
do that
York.
sound effect again.
Hope, EDW, Hope. So look, hey,
We
Russell
all eat
Wilson,
Popeye's chicken.
is so good.
Single tear. I mean, I swear, my man was about to cry at the moment at Popeyes. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm interrupting.
Yo, James is doing it, man. Hey, he in the Big Apple, so you know he about to take a bite out of that Big Apple, baby. You know it is. But look, Russell being in the Giants. First and foremost, before I even talk about Russell, let's face facts. This is the first time in NFL history that 4 starting quarterbacks will be black. And that is something that is groundbreaking. That is amazing. For those of you who don't know, JD5 in Washington, now Russell Wilson with the Giants, Dak Prescott with the Cowboys, and Jalen Hurts with the Eagles. This is groundbreaking. I love every bit of that.
You might be forgetting one.
Who?
There's a guy who starts in Chicago with the last name Williams. Is he not black?
Is he in the NFC East?
Oh, you have to. I didn't hear you clarify that. You just said four starting quarterbacks. That's why when you said. No, I'm just sorry. That's
Eagles, Washington.
Right, but you said four black starting quarterbacks. I didn't hear the NFC East part, so I thought you were going by the whole NFL. My bad. So I said I didn't hear the NFC East part, so I apologize.
Oh well, then yeah, I wouldn't have just left it at the 4.
You did. That's why I said. Yeah, no,
well, yeah,
okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I get what you're saying.
I'm sorry.
And Ben said, "Yeah, next year fans will be eating W's, their fingers doing the 1-2 step." Yep. So yeah, what are your thoughts? What are y'all's thoughts about Russell with the Giants? Misador said Sierra's hubby signing with New York, so he can keep JW on the sideline until week 5. James Winston is talking about. Oh yeah.
What do I think about Russell Wilson signing with the Giants?
Yes.
I'm not exactly sure what to think of Russ. He's also another player that is no longer in the prime of his years. I don't know. I mean, I think he could. Honestly, I think he could do. He could do just as well staying where he was with Pittsburgh. Not saying that the choice was up to him, but he could do just as well staying in Pittsburgh as he's going to do in New York. And I hope that he understands that he's not on the West Coast in Seattle where the fans are maybe not as rabid as they are in New York. New York is a sports town that will love you 1 second and hate you the next. Going back to the previous player we were discussing, remember when he signed with the Jets? And how everybody was like, oh, man, this might be it. This might be the year. Hey, the Fireman Joe was so excited about Discount Double Check coming from New York that he came out of retirement and was like, yeah, I'm going back to retirement. So I'm just saying they come out better. They come out better probably starting Tommy Cutlets, I think. I'm joking.
I'm joking.
I'm joking, but let me fix that. Maybe I'm not. Just from the standpoint of DeVito is younger, is a younger player, probably in a little. He's still in his prime. He might not have the level of skill that Russ had at his peak,
right? At that age, right?
But he's a younger player in his prime that's got age on his side. Like Russ is eventually going to go out there and do something indicative of a guy that is no longer in the prime of his pro football years. So I don't know. I'm not saying Russ is not a good quarterback. It's kind of watching Russ continue to play, watching Discount Double Check continue to play is kind of reminiscent of watching a certain other player continue to play when they left Indy and went to Denver. I mean, he still had some great years, but definitely was not the player that he was in his youth. So we're watching this play out again.
Yeah. Well, because it's not that it's curious to me. I get it. Russell was one of the last few quarterbacks out there, but this puzzles me in the sense of what are the Giants' plans then? Because with your third pick, a lot of people are like, "Oh, Shador Sanders to the Giants," right? A lot of people have speculated that or said that or think that that's the way they could go. But it's like, so now you got Wilson, you got the guy, the famous reporter from the Super Bowl. And you do, as far as I know, still have Tommy DeVito on the roster.
Yeah,
so
he re-signed a couple of weeks ago.
So
One-year deal.
You've got three quarterbacks already there. And again, I understand maybe none of them have the upside that a rookie contract or all that has. I mean, you've already got Russ for 2 years, like you said. Jameis got a 1 year, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. So it's just, what are they doing in New York? Like, you already gave away Saquon last year, and you look like the dumpster fire of the league. Are they going to pull another move like that and look like the dumpster fire of the league this year? Like, what are they doing in New York? I'm kind of curious because I'm trying to figure out what your plan is there in New York. Because again, well, go ahead. Don't go ahead, Andy. What? It could be what? I want to hear this.
I think it could be entirely possible. I mean, you traded away the man that wound up damn near breaking
the Super Bowl. Yeah,
he won the Super Bowl. He damn near won the broke the single season rushing record. Yeah. He was in the finals for league. Did he? Who was he? Offensive player of the year? I forgot. I don't follow. I mean, I follow those, but then I don't retain that information until football season because then I know Sean's going to ask for. Sean's like he's gonna send me a message later, like, "Hey, watching the rerun. He was not the rookie of the year. He's been in the league 3 years. I'm not dogging. I'm not dogging you, brother. I'm just saying, like Sean like,
who's the player?
I just made that up out of thin air. Yeah, that's just random.
I was looking it up right now. Like, hold on, what?
See, exactly. So, right. So the thing is, the thing is that they gave that guy away.
Yeah,
and
you did.
It doesn't look like they made any changes in their front office. So are they doing it again?
Right. I got to wonder about that.
You now have three quarterbacks on your roster, and the draft has not taken place yet. And there's some pundits saying maybe Shador might go there. Maybe they might bring Cam Ward there. What are they going to do? They're going to have to.
Cam Ward's not surviving the first two. I think Tennessee's taking him now, but that's just my opinion.
But I'm just to make a point. Yeah, I'm just throwing names out there. Yeah. To make a point, I'm throwing names out there. So you draft somebody in the first round, you're going to have to pay first round rookie money. You got Russ on a 10-year guarantee. What is it? Not 10-year, 1 year, $10 million guaranteed, right? Yeah. You got Jameis on a 1 year, and you got Tommy Cutlets on a 1 year.
Jameis is 2 for 8.
Jameis is 2 for 8. Okay. 2 years, $8 million. So Jameis is the only quarterback they have on the roster right now with longer than a year because Tommy only got a year. So they might be going for a rookie splash unless they're planning on waiting until next year. They're setting it up for next year.
Maybe. I mean, it just begs the question, like, what is going on in that New York management office? Like, what are you guys thinking? What are you doing? Because again, I get the allure of Shador Sanders and that sort of thing, but even if they take Shador, are you developing him with having Jameis and both? I mean, I understand having a veteran quarterback to like help a rookie, but do you really need two of them? Like, you need Jameis and Russ? Like I'm saying, to teach Shador.
Are we for sure they're getting a quarterback?
No, but I'm just saying that's been the rumor, and now I kind of feel like maybe that's not where they're going. That's which is kind of my point. Like, you're not taking a quarterback now at 3 because you got 3 of them. Regardless of whether you think those 3 are going to win you any football games or not, you got 3 of them, and two of them are big veterans in this league. So it just puzzles me kind of why they did that. But again, more power to the Giants, and if they lose, 14 games, Sean will not be upset, so it's fine. Like it doesn't matter to me. But
I don't think I'm actually opposite. I don't think they're going to suck this year. I actually think
the Giants.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, Russell's not. He's not Aaron Rodgers. Yes, he has fallen off somewhat, but they still went 6-5. They still were in the hunt. And if I'm not mistaken, did they make the playoff? No.
You're
I don't
the
think they made the
Steelers?
playoffs.
Yes. Yeah, they did.
No, yeah, with Russ
Oh,
there. So
I'm still stuck on the Giants. My bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
the
no,
Steelers
the
did.
well,
Steelers,
yeah, that's what I'm
because
saying.
remember when, yeah,
But I'm saying Russell was at the Steelers and they made the playoffs
yes,
with him. So
they
he
did.
clear. I mean,
They did.
as opposed to the Jets, who did not look good at all with Aaron.
Oh,
So
no.
we got to remember the Giants still got Malik Neighbors, who was
Sure.
close to
Oh,
being
no, you
rookie of
got
the
a
year.
stud receiver. You got a stud
They
receiver,
got,
sure.
yeah, they got pieces on the line. They have pieces on the defense. And look, for me personally, I think this is actually the best thing for them because you have stability now. We don't
Well,
know
that's the
what
thing.
Stewart's going to be in the league
Right.
when he comes in. So now you have Russ and now you have Jameis, two guys who have proven that they can win. Maybe not a Super Bowl as of late, but they can definitely
Right.
win in this league. And when you
Sure.
have a situation like New York where everything is kind of dumpster fire, you need something that's who's going to be able to handle that
Right.
attack of New
Sure.
York, which is Russ, because we know Russ is doing. What did the Broncos? What did Sean Payton say? He's spending all his time kissing babies, so he knows how to maneuver in the limelight with him and Sierra and all that. I think he might be. They're not. I'm not saying they're going to the Super Bowl, but I think he might be
No,
a
no,
good
no.
fit at least for the time that he's there to at least
Yeah.
kind of level things out. You know,
Mhm.
I personally think they're gonna fight with some of us in the division because I'm not sold on Dallas. Philly lost a lot of players, and
Yeah.
Washington. I still think we're gonna have a sophomore slump. So I think this
It's
division is
really-
gonna be a lot different. Yeah, we got the hardest schedule. We got one of the hardest schedules. So I think
Oh,
this year
yeah.
is gonna be a lot different. As far as in division, and I think the
Right.
Giants have just made things a little bit more interesting. Now, I don't think this is the
Okay.
long term thing at all, but I definitely
No,
think
it's
they just
not.
made
But
things more interesting.
that's what I say. It just begs the question. Well, I do wonder. I'm curious to now what they are going to do as far as the draft goes. I'd be interested to see what the Giants pull off at 3 there. See what
We shall
happens.
see, shall we
Well,
not?
We shall see.
well, that's the thing because at running back, who are they doing? Like Devin Singletary and Tracy. That could be where
Yeah.
Genti goes.
Well, that's the thing too. If they value him that much, right? Go take. They might take him at 3, like you said. That's very. I think it's. And again, you lost Saquon Barkley, so I don't. You might excite New York fans again if you did pull Genty at 3. You know what I'm saying? Like they may go, "Ooh, Malik Neighbors, Ashton Genty, Russell Wilson. It might not be a bad year after all." Right. So as I said, if the
But then
Giants have a plan,
is that a need? Is that what they need? Because they have a pretty stud D line. I mean, maybe they want to juice up their defense. They have pieces. You know what I mean?
right?
It's
I,
just
I
that.
get what you're saying. Well, every team does. That's the thing. It's how do you
Mm,
incorporate them? A
not
lot of
every
teams
team.
have some kind. Nah, everybody's got at least 1 or 2 guys that are really solid in terms of that.
I mean, the
Everybody's
Giants
got
have
pieces.
team.
It's what you do to add to those pieces that matters. And the Giants
Absolutely.
just have to add to their pieces, as you said. So that's what I said. I'd be very curious to see what they pull off in this draft, especially with that 3rd pick, see where they go now, or whatever they're thinking. But yeah, it's again,
You also got to
for us,
think they got third pick in the second round too. So these are
there you
two
go.
very
Right.
high picks. And
Yes.
look, at the end of the day, one thing we will always get on the Giants for letting Saquon go.
Yeah, sure.
But
That's going to
we
stay for a
also
while, right?
right, but we also got to look at the money. Look at
Yeah.
how much they got back. What are they able to do? It's
Right.
easy to go look at the Saquon thing, just similar to looking at Matthew Stafford, meaning he left Detroit. Then it's like, oh well, was it the Rams or was it Matthew going somewhere else, or was it the fact that he was a Georgia guy?
Well, if you ask Candy, it said he was a
Nothing,
Georgia guy. So that's we know that one. I think.
I'm surprised.
Listen, I am swimming on the other side of the lake today, and I am not chasing your bait, sir.
Oh, you're not gonna point at the 2 posters behind you and go, oh,
That's
what school did he go to again? Where was that gentleman from? Like, what did he do?
He's not outside. He's not going to the gym. If he was going to the
Right.
gym,
Oh,
he'd have a whole
that's
conversation.
That's true. That's very true, isn't it? That's extremely true. We love you, buddy. We really do. Right. That's all I got. And I'm done. And I'm spent. There's enough right here. Point at the poster. There it is. That's what I was waiting for. That's what I was waiting for. There you go.
So I think it's going to be interesting. I think
Yeah.
he's more apt to handle it than Aaron Rodgers is, just because
I think we proved that because Rodgers didn't handle it very well at all in New York. So I think I think you're probably right. I think Russ would handle it a lot better, and Aaron proved that he couldn't. And again, not to jump back on Aaron, but that just shows you, I think, where he's at and why he just needs to go.
I think it's close to that time, if not
Yep.
that time. So there it is, 37. It's slow and it's been a long day. Look,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, we are gonna head out of here. This has been the Blitz. Um, Danica. Oh, all this speeding. You just
Wow.
want to accelerate the conversation, Handy.
Yes,
Just
he does. Yes, he does.
put the pedal
I
to the
think you all
metal.
did, I think you all had a good I think you all did a very good job of handling that topic on the show earlier, by the by.
I
That
think
no
we, I
shade,
think
no shade
yeah,
intended whatsoever. I'm not even being
I think
no, I'm serious. I'm not even
very
throwing
nice,
shade.
cordial.
We will understand it better by and by. Singing it. By and by. Oh, when the morning comes. That's not sorry. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out of here. For this guy, Mister Tired of the Rising Sun, rising down. Tired of rising down. Is that what that says?
Yeah, I want
That's what
Atlanta
it
to
is.
win a Super Bowl. That's what that
Oh, the
means.
rising. Okay.
Right. They're rising up. They're rising down. Right.
I want to hear what happens when Atlanta wins the Super Bowl. I want to hear how you react to that. I don't think you're gonna
Oh,
believe
I probably won't. I'll be like, no, you cannot convince me that Doc Brown and Marty didn't show
it.
up
Right.
with the almanac and
With
do
the sports
something.
almanac.
Like any minute, young Michael J. Fox is gonna come in here. Pre sickness, Michael J. Fox is gonna walk in here with a crazy head. You gotta come back to the future with me, fingers. Great Scott! 1.21 gigawatts.
I can see it. Him, that flux capacitor and all that stuff.
Right,
Absolutely.
man. You know what? That is it should be declared a federal crime that we're not able to buy the flux capacitor from Advanced Auto Parts or wherever, because you can see it on the website, but you can't buy it. I mean, it doesn't do anything anyway, so why won't you sell it and make them? Well, they can't, probably because of
Right.
Lucasfilm.
That's right. They probably got that tied up. Spielberg got that money tied up and somewhere. Like, you can't do flux capacitor without me getting some cash.
Or
they know if you get it in a car and you go 88 miles an hour.
Or
That's
maybe
right.
maybe it actually works, and that's them flaunting it right there in front of our eyes. It works.
I'm telling you.
But they're not allowing us to buy it because all of us would be traveling back. We'd all be rich. It wouldn't be wouldn't nobody be working. Could you see that? Nobody be working, be like, nobody's picking up the trash. I know, we're all rich. Isn't this great?
But see, then people would be going back in time to steal the money from somebody else that just went back in time and stole the money from somebody. It just, the space-time continuum would be just
gone.
And look, there's still parts of me that thinks we're kind of living in an alternate 1985 right now, but that's besides the point.
That was
1985. How about we were in George Orwell's 1984?
Oh yeah, no, but I'm talking about in Back to the Future 2 when they went back after with the sports almanac after she
85 right there
messed up with Biff, who has a striking resemblance to somebody else that's in charge. For my guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this final presentation of Football.
We are done.
Just in case you don't see us no more.
You know why?
Doc, help!
Speaking of that flux capacitor, can I go back?
Yeah, can I go back in time?
Oh yeah. Hey, that's that guy, Nicholas Rosario.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are heading out of here, people. Peace in the Middle East, rain in Spain.
Have a good night. That's right.
Chicken and grits. And as always, I don't care. He should have done this.
Oh man. Oh, wow.